is going on, everybody? Welcome to Wars in the Stars, episode number 101. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the Secret Invasion finale. We'll also discuss the Marvels trailer, and then we'll obviously have the question of the week. Alex, my man, how are you doing today? How's your week been? What's new in the world?
Honestly, hasn't been much different. Just still working my ass off. Now back to content creation, which has been nuts the last 3 days, but it's been fun. So, and as my description on YouTube says, I just post what comes to mind. So, yeah. Oh my god,
I think we lost you. I
don't know how I sound right now, but literally just as I said, my mic is like messed up right now. My mic like completely just shut off.
You sound okay. You sound good. So
Acceptable for now?
you sound good. Yeah, you sound fine.
Are we sure?
I'm pretty positive. I hear you really well. So
Okay. Yeah. How about yourself, Drew? How about yourself? Enough about me.
dude, man, I saw Oppenheimer yesterday.
Nice.
Oh my fucking dude. I really wish you saw it because I think I could talk about this movie for like a whole day. I'm not even kidding you. I'm not joking. It's probably my favorite like movie experience ever. Like it's a 10 out of 10. Like there was literally nothing wrong with it. I mean, I saw it yesterday at like 3. I got out at 6. And like the feeling you have coming out of the theater from that movie is just like it's like, what did I just watch? And it's the type of thing, it's crazy that it keeps you engaged that long because it's literally just dialogue. I mean, it's 3 hours of just dialogue, but it's so riveting. It's obviously beautiful, but like more so the story is just so it's like so amazing. It might be Nolan's best film. Like
Nice.
it's probably Nolan's best film. I texted you this after I watched it. I'm not gonna be here and be the guy that like RDJ can't act, but I'm also gonna be the guy that says, let's be honest here. He's known for one role. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
He gives his best performance of his career in this movie as Louis Strauss. Alden Ehrenreich was great.
Yeah.
Emily Blunt, Cillian Murphy was. I mean, it's you have to see this movie, Alex. Like I would much rather be talking about this movie than what we're talking about today. But you got to go see it because like if you love cinema, this is why. Like this is like this is cinema. You know, yeah. Not to be dramatic here, but you have to go see it.
I'll go see Barbie.
I mean, that's fair too. Barbie's doing pretty well in the box office, but no, like I can't speak. I'm going to see it again with a couple of friends of mine, but
wow, look at that.
I'd give all the money to this movie. It's so good. It's fantastic. And then I'm also reading Heir to the Empire.
Nice. Look at you go, getting your studying ready.
I'm about 100 pages in.
Dude, how are you enjoying it?
I love it, dude.
Dude, it's a goated story.
I love it so much. It's so weird to me, like, cause like it almost feels like it could fit. You know, like I'm thinking, I'm like almost feels like it could fit in the universe, but I'm like, oh shit, Leia has twins. That's right. I totally forgot about that because she has what's their Jason and what's the other one's name? Fuck.
You got me. Hold on. Now I gotta know. Jason and Jaina and Anakin.
Jason. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Luke is fantastic. Like Luke, bro. It's just I'm only about 130 pages in, and like Thrawn, Thrawn is fucking like just genius in this.
He is, dude. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, if you read the Legends and canon version and see the canon version of him, dude, they're the same character.
No, they literally are. I read it in his voice. I'm like, there's literally no difference in like him at
Mhm.
all.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like all these people who are saying that Thrawn should have been like Robert Downey Jr. or Benedict Cumberbatch instead of the voice from Rebels, dude. You just don't get it. That is, and you know what I've noticed people who say that it's people who haven't watched Rebels because I'm
Or
just like,
haven't
dude,
read this. I
yeah,
mean, like,
because dude, even the canon Thrawn books, dude, Thrawn just has Thrawn just has a way with his words. It's crazy.
he does.
He's amazing. He, in my opinion, he's in my like top 10 villains of all time. He's just there's nothing about him that's like, oh, he's on the level of Darth Vader. But it's just kind of like, dude, he's one of those villains that he's just like, dude, he doesn't look like a physical threat. Dude, he's an absolute mental threat.
Oh,
He's
he is.
crazy.
Let's be honest. He's like a sleepy physical threat, though.
He is, especially if you watched him fighting those droids and rebels. My man's can cook.
And it's also like when I read that, I'm like, I kind of wish like, because I really like Rook, like
Yeah.
in the air, like and like they kind of
Mhm.
just like in Rebels, it's kind of like,
he's a
what the
bit yeah,
fuck is this?
he's a bit of a joke in Rebels, but
It's like, what is this thing? Um, it's also like it's so weird because I'm like, oh, this is like believable. Like if you, I shouldn't think like this. I should just think, oh, like it's a really good story. But I'm like, oh, this is too bad. Mara Jade's in it, but Mara Jade could even like
she could
still.
theoretically fit.
Mara Jade could theoretically work.
Yeah, theoretically, yes.
No, but it's fantastic. I really like it so far.
Good. I'm
I'm
glad
gonna
you
try.
like it.
I wanted to, and this will kind of be a part of my question of the week, but I kind of wanted to read it before Ahsoka
Hmm.
because I really feel like, and I'm kind of spoiling my thoughts here, but I really feel like the first book, at least, of Heir to the Empire is kind of what Ahsoka's going to be, more or less.
Yeah.
Minus, obviously, Luke, Han, and Leia, that whole thing, Mara Jade, but like Thrawn, essentially.
Honestly, dude, who knows? We could see Han, Luke, and Leia.
I wouldn't be surprised. Alrighty, do we want to talk about Secret Invasion? Because I think
Let's
we're going to
do it.
disagree a lot.
I think we are too. Like, just to jump in, I don't think this was a bad episode. Like, okay, here's like when I was watching it, dude. So when I was watching it, I kind of knew the entire time. I was like, okay, so that's definitely not Fury going in there because he would die.
Mhm.
So I kind of knew it was Gaia. It was also like very predictable.
Right.
But then, dude, I remember, and I know I talked about how we're not gonna trash on this episode, but I literally, dude, I remember when the CGI of them fighting started happening. I remember my jaw literally dropped to the ground. I was like, dude, are we watching a fucking 2023 show or a PS1 game? That CGI was Flash levels of rough at times.
Oh, it was bad. It was bad, dude.
It is. It's one of those things that, like, when you're paying one of your main actors probably as much as you have paid the VFX team, the VFX look trash. They're not awful. They're not completely awful. There's just some clunky cuts and whatnot to cover it up, make it look really bad at times. But yeah, I just thought that was my real big qualm with the episode. Predictable and just dude, some really, really clunky CGI.
I'm like this. The only finale that was worse was She-Hulk. This is officially the second worst MCU show. Like,
really?
Dude, this finale was terrible. I'm telling you, it's one of the worst things I've watched. I'm not even kidding you. And maybe it's because I'm coming off such a high of like a great movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking your bar
I
is
no.
really high
But
right
hear me
now.
out. I do have a reason for it. I do.
Okay.
Trust me. When I think of the Rhodey thing now, I think this is the dumbest thing ever because you didn't set it up. You never
Y-
set it up at all in Infinity War and Endgame. It's never established. It's bullshit, retroactive shit that you're doing that is just like a woo me, oh my moment that I'm like, oh, this is
mhm.
bullshit. You didn't set it up at all. We know you didn't set it
Yeah,
up. Gaia is now the most powerful like character. There's no debate around it.
absolutely. She has the powers of Captain Marvel, Mantis,
Thor,
Groot, Thor, Loki, probably now the intelligence of Iron Man.
Mantis,
Yeah, Thanos, Steve Rogers,
Drax.
Drax has now like the blood of or has the DNA of a celestial now. Um, like she is untapped power. She is by far the new most powerful being in the MCU.
And it was so bullshit. I knew when I saw them start to fight, I'm like, this is the dumbest dude. It was first off, it looked terrible. Okay. Like
Yeah, a
I
good
I
majority of you did not look good.
it looked bad, especially the fact that it was shot again in like gray. It was dark, so you couldn't see a lot of their facial expressions, a lot of it. And I don't mean to like listen,
Mm,
we've talked about this VFX that they're paid way too little and not given enough time. So like I'm not gonna shit on them, but like give these people more time to work on this stuff. But also it was fucking stupid. Okay, the
mm.
okay yes, I get it's a superhero story, whatever. But again, it boggles my mind that Fury was like, let's go and collect everyone's DNA from the battlefield.
But then, not even that. A part of his plan was to actually give it to Gravik.
Yes.
Like he actually gives it to him.
Yep.
Why?
They,
That made no sense.
dude, it was the dumbest fight I have ever. I'm like, they did not just do that, and then they're just gonna. So Gaia is now like the most powerful thing, just walking around.
By far, yeah.
The Ritson stuff, President, like he was barely in the show, and then at the end of the episode, this dude's like, we need to kill all the scrolls. After literally he finds out that they invaded his cabinet. Rhodey, one of his closest advisors, was a scroll, and he's like, "Yep, we need to eliminate every single one of them now."
Mm-hmm.
He's barely in the show, and then he plays a monumental part in it. Dude, it bought like the writing of this finale, the writing of the latter half of the season, like 5 and 6 specifically, has been dreadful. This show is like it's like this finale was a 3. It's just destroyed everything to me.
Yeah.
It it's bad. And the Rhodey thing really does piss me off because it's just a whoa, he's been Skrull since Civil War.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of those things that to me, man, it's just like again, I think the one problem that this show has is that it feels like we are supposed to be under the impression like we followed these characters for
Mm-hmm.
30 individual movies with them, but we just haven't. So
No.
like when then all of a sudden we're given these big revelations, we're just like, okay, well, I already like didn't care about him, but now I really don't care about him now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because then it just like it's just more cheap than anything. It just feels more cheap. Feels like a
Yeah.
very cheap cop out, and then I feel like it's going. I think honestly, it also promotes really bad like laziness because it's just like,
Yes.
oh, what if we find out Tony Stark was a scroll,
Right.
and then you bring Robert Downey Jr. back? It's like, come on. I feel like the writing's on the table right there. Like it just, in my opinion, like a story like this should not have been handled as clunkily as it was in this show. And I also think though, like I do think that the series was good. I just think they missed the mark on what they were trying to accomplish and how they were trying to do it. Because again, you're trying to set this big thing up of like again, I like texted you this like lasting ramifications is one of the biggest jokes next to like up there with like the hierarchy of powers about to change in the DC universe. It is the
Right.
biggest joke we have ever been told. because the lasting ramifications was that Earth is going to defend itself from alien invaders.
Right.
That's the lasting ramification.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, how predictable that Earth, who, let's keep in mind, we're in the year of the MCU. We are in what, 2026 at the latest right now? Not even 3 years ago, just had the Battle of Earth. And you're trying to
Right.
tell me that we're supposed to be absolutely blown away that the president of the United States doesn't want to have to fight another war with aliens again. Just
Right.
coming off of 3 years of the Battle of Earth.
Right.
It's just like, come on, that's the lasting ramification. Honestly, Gaia being the most powerful motherfucker now is the biggest lasting ramification. Because now
It makes no sense.
because now the hierarchy of power really has changed.
Nobody can beat her. Like nobody. Nobody
Nobody.
can even touch. It's not even close.
And also, it's like one of those things. She literally did not have to know any of her abilities, like how to
Nope.
use any of them. She just knew how. Which, listen, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I'm not gonna be like those guys who did that about Rey
Right.
knowing how to use the Force. There was explanation there, but come on now, what's the explanation for her knowing how to use Mantis's powers or Captain Marvel's powers? I just think
It's
I just
just
think there
so
was
lazy to me. It's so lazy. The whole Avengers DNA, the harvest was lazy to me. It was lazy.
Mhm.
It was
It's
lazy.
it's just it's a really lazy way also of it. Just again, it feels like they like wrote themselves into a hole here because you're just like, okay, but why would he do that? And it's still not explained, by the way. He
No.
still doesn't elaborate why he collected their blood. And so I'm just like, are we gonna get anything like that? Again, I feel like we're talking more negatively because again, I do think the show is written good. It is a great written show, if I'll even say that. But in the context of the MCU is not. And I'm also like on one of those people that I'm not one of those people who are like, it's a good show but a bad Marvel show. But I genuinely think that this is one of the rare instances where that is actually true.
Yeah, I think to me, and I think somebody put it perfectly that I watched. They said it's fine,
Hmm.
but you really have to be a fan. I think I said this last week. You have to be a fan of the MCU to really watch this. Like you have to really like
Yeah.
Marvel to really watch this. And to
Mhm.
me, man, like I might be a little bit prisoner of the moment, but I, I thought about this myself. I'm like I'm gonna watch Loki for sure because I love Tom and that character, but also like
Yeah.
it's gonna have ramifications.
Oh
Man,
yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna watch these anymore. I don't I like I'm at
I'm
that point.
the drive is just not there anymore.
I'm at that point like I don't want to watch Echo. I
And
can
like
watch a YouTube video maybe.
and honestly though, the other big thing is like to compare to Star Wars for a little bit. Even the worst of Star Wars TV that we've gotten hasn't been that bad. It hasn't been amazing top tier S tier content, but C tier, a lot of the MCUs are really starting to fall into that D to F tier category.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like they are a lot of them are also becoming borderline unwatchable.
Yeah.
Whether it's boring, bad CGI, bad writing, bad character development, direction, anything like that. I just that's kind of my problem right now with the MCU, man. Is it's just the MCU feels directionless right now, and it just feels like a reboot would just be better at this point.
Absolutely. I gotta say, man, like the last MCU show we had before this was almost a year ago, and it was She-Hulk. And
Yep.
if you remember She-Hulk's finale, how it made fun of the fact that every single Marvel movie has just big CGI gloobly glob fight at the end. You remember
Yeah.
that? That was literally this. It was literally that to like the
Mhm.
max, just gloobly
Yeah.
glob.
Yeah.
And it's like to me, Alex, I really like Nick Fury in the first half of the series. What was his character arc at the end?
No clue. He's one of the he literally in this series he went forward and just that's it. Like he maybe moved an inch forward with his character of that like he accepted his wife for who she was.
Yeah, which I thought was cool and interesting. But I
Mm,
also was fine after what was it, like episode 4 or 5, when they kind of just went their separate ways. And I
yeah.
was like, okay, cool, that's it with that. And then all of a sudden, oh, they're back together.
Hmm.
And then
Yeah.
my thing was, I think if we were gonna do this show over again, it wouldn't have the scrolls, but it would be a Nick Fury spy thing with
Yeah.
Talos could still be in it. And it's just a spy thing. It's has nothing,
Yeah.
no big ramifications, no scrolls, none of that
Just
shit. Just
yeah.
Nick Fury, kind of like Agents of Shield, I guess. Whatever.
Just honestly do something like again, like there are people who are trying to essentially cause World War III,
Yep.
and they're trying to wipe out humanity. Or better yet, bring back the Flag Smashers and flesh them out.
Yeah.
Like do something like that. But it just, dude, I'm with you. Like again, for me, it's like I am like uber tits excited for Ahsoka. Like I cannot wait right now. And then, but like this is what I'm having to watch until then.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it's over now.
Yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
it's like again, it's like I feel bad because like again, I don't think the writing of the series is inherently bad. It's just not inherently good either. Like I don't know. I again, I do think there is a lot to like about the series, but it's one of those things, man, that it has me worried for Secret Wars. I mean, they fumbled the bag so badly with Secret Invasion, probably Secret Wars like either like third younger brother or oldest cousin. So it's like I don't know, just a little nervous about how they're going to do that because this again, Secret Invasion in the comics is one of the most iconic arcs of all time.
Yeah. It's
And
almost
I'm
insulting that this show was called Secret Invasion.
yeah, literally. And I cannot tell you like how comparable the series to the comics is because they're not.
No, not
They
even
got
close.
they got one thing in common, and that's scrolls.
Oh my! And the bullshit at the end, like the Kree are willing to negotiate with the scrolls about peace. I'm like, dude, what?
Yeah,
Like, what? Like, it's just. I thought the first 5 episodes were fine. I was around like a 7 for this show, but this finale just like complete, like it's everything I despise about like when the superhero genre does this. I
mm,
It was like the perfect representation of like what bad like comic book adaptation storytelling is. Gloobly glob fight that I didn't care about. Did you care that Gravik died? Like
no,
Gaia's now the most powerful character. I listen, I love Amelia Clark and I can't wait to see more of her, but I
mm,
don't want to see like a super scroll that has all the Avengers powers. That's dumb to me. That's not interesting. Um
yeah,
and the roadie thing is just I think I want to talk about that more because that to me, I'm excited. I think one positive I will say, I'm excited for Armor Wars now because a
yeah,
part of his arc is going to be about him dealing with the trauma of him losing his friends and not knowing about it, which I think is
hmm,
going to be really interesting. And
yeah,
then him having to take up the mantle of essentially the new Iron Man of this
mm,
time. So that's going to be really interesting to me. But it's lazy to me like, oh, he got injured in Civil War.
mm,
Well, let's just make him a scroll now without like having any
yeah,
inclination of doing it until you made this show.
mm, yeah. It's to me, it's one of the bad parts of the show. Just again, the predictability of it is really bad.
Right.
It's probably one of, if not the show's worst qualities.
Hmm.
Is this show is it just again, it is just appallingly predictable.
Yeah.
Like, come on, it was so predictable that it was not Fury inside the area to go fight Gravik. It was so obvious that Gravik was going to die. It was so obvious that like Vara was a scroll. It was so obvious that Rhodey was a scroll. It was so obvious that Gaia didn't die at the end of the episode. That's kind of the problem, is that like a series is good when you are able to like suspend your disbelief and actually like get like hooked by the series. I
Right.
never felt hooked. I always felt like I knew what was going to happen next, and
Yeah.
then 9 out of 10 times I was right.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna use like I'll use like because I just heard Oppenheimer as an example. So Oppenheimer, like if you know like anything about history or have read, I actually want to read it now, American Prometheus, which is a book that details his whole life, and it's great.
Yeah.
You kind of Oppenheimer's story essentially, right? You know,
Mm.
like he has an affair with Jean, who's played by Florence Pugh in Oppenheimer. Like you know all this stuff. But like the unique ability for like Nolan to like create suspense
Yeah.
in moments where Lewis Strauss, played by Robert Downey Jr., absolutely hated Oppenheimer. Strauss was the head of the Atomic Energy Commission. He was going to appoint Oppenheimer to the head of it. It was based in Princeton, but it was all a
Mm.
front. And throughout the movie, that's kind of the story. That's the big like story, the overarching thing. But we see different moments of Oppenheimer's life, and then we connect back sometimes with Strauss and sometimes.
Mm.
But the ability for a historical BIPOC like Oppenheimer, for me to feel more engaged, even though where I know what's going, I know Oppenheimer, from what I know of history, comes to regret what he does because of the nuclear arms race that happens afterwards. But
Mm.
Nolan's ability to have Killian Murphy's ability to show in his facial expressions, his tone, these different scenes where these different scientists and even President Truman has a conversation with Oppenheimer, like just the ability to craft a story where you know what's going to happen, but
Mm.
to have it be so tense with the music and then also the performances, especially facial expressions and tone, is so impactful. This series, right? Secret Invasion, I know what's gonna happen. It's just so predictable. I know what's gonna happen
Mm.
because you never suspend my disbelief. Like you never did. Like you never
Yeah.
do it. I just know what's gonna happen. It's telegraphed almost. And it's upsetting because this cast is a really great cast. Amelia
Oh,
Clark,
yeah.
Samuel
Absolutely.
L. Jackson, Olivia Colman. Like if you told me that was gonna be
Mm-hmm.
a Marvel cast, and I get, in my opinion, the second worst MCU show, I'm very disappointed.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think Kevin Feige's got to start asking himself some questions, man, because I really think with the shows, he's hiring some subpar talent. I really do think that with the writing and just where he's going. And
Mm.
I think I have, man, I think as much as I don't like Bob Iger right now, I think he's right about one thing. Got to stop with the Disney Plus shit. You got to cut
Yeah.
back on it.
Yeah. I mean, it's really weird because Disney's again at this weird point where it felt like at one point the MCU had predicted or perfected movies and Star Wars perfected TV.
Right.
And now we're at this weird point where it feels like Marvel can't perfect anything.
Yeah.
And Star Wars is on that up and up where it's like, hey, there's actually like a lot of fan intrigue for movies now. Series are actually like getting a lot of hype built around them.
Right.
And Marvel just kind of feels like, well, we got to put something out.
Yeah.
Like, and that's all this felt like to me. This just felt like to a series put out for the sake of putting something out. So they
Hmm.
didn't continue to go on a dry streak of no
I mean,
content.
what's the again? I don't mean to cut you off, but literally, what was the point of this?
I don't know. It's one of those things that this is not a story to tell at this time.
Right.
It's not the story. This was a story that you should have told in the Infinity Saga or later, after Kang is dealt with.
Or it's like this story is worthy of an entire saga itself.
Mm-hmm. Or literally, yeah, do the Secret Invasion Saga. This is this is one of those things that, like, for instance, Secret Wars needs its own saga built around it. So it's getting a saga built around it. Granted, it's one very disjointed, very disconnected, very unproportional saga, but it's getting a saga that, unfortunately, again, I could just go on and on, but just like Secret Invasion or Secret Wars, in my opinion, has me worried because I'm just like, dude, any series, like, of all of phases 4, 5, and 6, phase 6 is going to be the only important series or
Yeah.
Phase 4 has a few. Phase 5 has nothing. It has nothing.
Like phase 5 right now, what would like if you okay. Let's say we are 3 years from now, right? When Secret Wars is coming out, 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
What are the things you're watching right now? Okay, so you're gonna watch Loki season 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the first thing you watch, right?
Yeah.
Maybe WandaVision.
Yeah. Then maybe Multiverse of Madness.
Or No Way Home you're watching for sure.
Yep. And then Multiverse of Madness, yeah.
Then massive gap.
Literally.
And then you have to watch Quantum Mania kind of because it's Kane.
Yeah, man. Dude, it is just
and then what? Then it's it. As of now.
It feels so strange how unimportant all of phases 4 and 5 have been. Even phase 1 was important in phase 3 of the MCU.
Absolutely. Phase 1 was huge.
Phase 2 was super important. Like the end of phase 2 set us up why the Avengers end up failing in phase 3. But dude, phase 4 has felt so inconsequential. I honestly have forgotten that it has even happened. Like, it is just really frustrating when we go from the MCU again, uber interconnected, to now, dude. It just feels like it just feels like, again, to me, it feels like Marvel putting out content for the sake to put something out.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like Star Wars, again, sorry to harp on Star Wars being better than Marvel, but it's about fucking time that this has happened. Star Wars, literally, since I'd say the Rise of Skywalker onward, everything has felt important, even if it hasn't been the best. It has felt important, connected, and like necessary to the story.
Right.
Phase 4 and phase 5 have felt so inconsequential, so unnecessary, so unneeded, unwanted, that I honestly, if I could refund time, I would. Like I'm with you though. Like, honestly, I honestly don't know if I'm gonna like actually watch anything else now. I'm gonna watch
I just
Star
don't
Wars.
feel the drive. Like I don't like, dude. I'm gonna keep talking about Oppenheimer, but like when I went to watch Oppenheimer, I'm like, bro, I've never been as excited for a film as that for a while, since probably No Way Home. But like non-comic book film, I haven't been that excited in a really long time.
Yeah.
And it met my expectations, dude. And it's just an ecstatic feeling. Like, I don't know if I don't think the MCU can get back to that. I really don't.
No.
I don't, because they lost the heart. They lost the formula that worked with the Infinity Saga.
Yeah. The thing is though, is like when they realized that they could pump out these TV shows in like half the time it takes to do a movie, and you only have to get like 1 or 2 major marquee actors, and then you can just like get a bunch of random side actors.
Yeah.
So you're having a super low budget or Sometimes you're getting a super low budget
Well, this show was $212 million.
$1 million.
Dude, this show cost just as much as the Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Just to think, also, you got to think probably 15 to 20 million was just paying for Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Hey,
Amelia Clark got a good sum too. I mean, she's
yeah,
top bill.
I mean,
Olivia Colman.
yeah. You got to think though, like, hey, I guess it pays the best to be in the top 0.01% of the industry. But it's just like, man, I don't know. I don't know right now. I don't know what the future of the MCU holds, because honestly, I don't think the MCU needs one banger. I think it needs a lot of bangers.
Needs a year. It needs a year. Like, it has to have a year.
Yeah. The other thing though is just like, again, my other problem with Marvel right now is just, again, its sister company Star Wars is just doing so much better.
Yeah.
Marketing wise, so writing wise, all of it.
Bro, Kevin Feige lied, bro. He literally said this will have lasting ramifications. And again, yes, this storyline is kind of going to be like exploring Cap 4 because President Written is not going to be the president. It's going to be Thunderbolt Ross. But is that like, we said that. We already, we ourselves said that. That's not like big to me. And then also another thing that I didn't like, just the end of the show with like, they're hunting the scrolls that are still within governments and then just plug in random people. And I'm like, what is happening? You remember how they just like killed a bunch of random people and then they actually killed the wrong person? I'm like, what is happening? This is what is going on? It just was so the pacing. I don't know if you felt like this. The pace of this episode was terrible.
It was.
But not in a good way. It was like.
No, it was the Rise of Skywalker.
I don't mind fast-paced stuff, right?
Absolutely,
but this was like fast-paced without any explanation. I'm like, what's happening?
Dude.
What's happening?
Nah,
what's
dude.
happening?
As soon as I didn't look at the time when I was reading the description of the episode. I was like, wait, how long is the episode? And I saw 37 minutes. I was like, oh my God. So we're only going to get like 33 minutes of content.
I'm like, what's happening? Wait, slow down. what's happening?
Honestly, the thing that shot this series in the foot was the first 2 episodes being an hour.
But those were the best 2 episodes.
But those were the best 2 episodes. And then when the episode started getting shorter, dude, and the pacing started to get breakneck again, it shot itself in the foot. Because again, those first 2 episodes were really good. And then it just could not keep up with those first 2 episodes.
I think episode like 4 was kind of good that I liked, and then I don't know, but like 1 and 2, the reason they were good was because I thought they were paced. It was long, but they were paced well, and we really got to know the characters, right? And then it kind of literally lost the plot, and was like, okay, you kind of know enough. But I'm like, no, I don't know enough. Again, like I was saying, if it was a more self-contained, self-centered thing with Ben Mendelsohn's Talos and Fury, I'm all for it. With Olivia Colman involved, like you said, it can literally be a thing where like the world governments, like, again, it could be like a thing with the Flag Smashers, but not with the Flag Smashers. Actually, it could be something else. Again, it could be dealing with the post-blip world. Fury has to come down to solve this problem because he kind of created the mess with the Avengers. And people are blaming Fury. You don't have to have the Skrulls really involved because, that's not a thing Fury can deal with. As we saw, literally, Fury is the titular character of this show, and he's like not even actually in, like, what, like half of this episode. He's in the last like half of the episode, saving the president, who doesn't give a shit about like.
And then when we do see him in the episode, it's not even actually him. It's Gaia. I don't know, man. In my opinion, the series was just doomed to fail. Like, that's how it feels at this point. It just feels doomed. It just felt doomed to fail.
I don't know. I mean, man, it's very frustrating. Like, I was very I watched. I'm like, I am very frustrated. Like this, it's lazy. It's it's slapstick. It felt like it was slapped together. It was poorly ended.
Hmm.
Um, I thought pacing was terrible. I thought just the big three for me was like Gaia's power set. It just feels so like I understand you have to suspend your disbelief. This is fantasy after all. Like
Yeah.
it's not real. But at the same time, like we've created a reality within the universe of like power levels and scales that can like Gaia's powers just don't make sense. The whole harvest as it is, the whole Avengers DNA thing is
Makes no
stupid.
sense, dude. No logic.
I will give credit to one thing. The dialogue Gravik has is really good.
Dude, I'm telling you, top three monologue of the MCU.
It was really good.
It was really good acted, written. Like it was really, really good.
But like I don't care. Like I just don't like I the
I'm
rest of the
saying
episode made me not care about it.
I'm saying he died like a bitch. He literally just got shot through the heart with a
Yeah,
beam.
I the whole that whole and the fight was I thought the fight itself was bad. I'm not even talking about like the VFX CG.
Mhm.
I think the fight itself was just bad.
Yeah, especially when they were like doing like hand to hand combat too.
I
Um,
don't care about it's also a thing like we've said it week after week. We just didn't care about the characters enough.
yeah,
And then when you're trying to end a story and you don't care about the characters, you just can't engage with a fight like that or just
yeah.
anything.
No, I agree, 100%, man.
Also, how did those people not like get radiation?
Yeah, how are they not dead?
They just walked out like we're good, man.
Look, bro, that only matters when it actually matters. Okay,
Yeah, it mattered with the fake Nick Fury.
it didn't matter with actual people.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. I'm gonna give this finale a. All right, do you got anything else you want to say?
No,
I'm gonna
not
give
at
this
all.
finale a 3 out of 10, and I'm gonna give the show a generous 6 out of 10.
I'm gonna give the finale a 6.5 out of 10, and then I'm gonna give the series a 7.5.
Oh,
Like again,
wow.
it like you have like we have to be real here. It is a good written show. It's
At some
just
points, yes.
majority of it is good writing. Just
Yeah.
it's again the problem is it's not the writing of the show. It's the fact that we as the viewer are supposed to like know these people and we don't.
Right.
So it's not really again as a standalone series really really good. And the context of the MCU this just missed on every single market tried to shoot. So
I
yeah.
think that's fair. I just think like I'm telling you, like if I wasn't like a big Marvel fan, I wouldn't watch this.
Oh yeah. I mean shit. Honestly, as a Marvel fan, I might not watch it anymore.
I exactly.
Mhm.
Alrighty. What do we want to talk about? Do we want to do question of the week or do we want to do the Marvels?
Let's do the Marvels. You also haven't told me question of the week, so I'm excited. I'm excited.
Ah,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Marvels, man. I like this trailer.
I gotta be honest with you. I didn't care for it.
We are like this. We are like going this way right
Dude, I
now,
know, I
and then
know,
we
I
just
know,
went that way.
I know. We're crazy today. We're crazy. Look, it's not. Look, okay. Look. We're getting a female Ronin. That's the villain of the movie is a female Ronin. Now, Drew, do you remember like how good Ronin was? Oh no, is Drew dead? Guys, I think Drew's dead. Oh, there he is. Oh, he's in 180p quality with no
Okay, I
audio.
thought. Can you hear me?
Yep, there you go. There you go. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good.
Okay, I thought I was dying there for a second. Oh boy. Um. Yeah, man. I agree with that. This is also Tom Hiddleston's wife, I believe, right?
I think so. Pretty sure.
Um, interesting. Um, we kind of know a little bit about her. I believe she had a relationship with Captain Marvel. I can remember the leaks right, they have kind of a relationship. I didn't really care so much about like the villain thing. I just liked because the way this movie is going to be good is like uh Tiana Paris, Iman Vellani, and Brie Larson have to have good chemistry on screen, or this
Mm,
movie just doesn't work at all, right?
yeah, it'll fall
Because this is
apart.
a team up movie,
Mm,
and it will not be good unless there's chemistry. And I saw a lot of promise and signs from this trailer that they a liked working with each other, but also there was good in universe chemistry with the characters as they share a similar power set. Um, yeah, I just like the trailer from the fact it gave me some hope.
yeah.
Again, I'm not expecting this movie to smash my expectations. I'm actually going in with like very very few expectations. I didn't like the first Captain Marvel. Uh, None of these characters are like my favorite characters on the planet.
Mm,
The villain I know very limited about. Um, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is kind of the movie you just go and see if you want to see the post credit scenes, which we already kind of know.
yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of how I feel about it.
No, yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I feel like to a degree, I feel like I'm excited for the movie, but I also feel like I don't know, man. I was burned by the first Captain Marvel movie, and I don't know, man. I think I just gotta see more. I think that's my thing. Is I don't feel like I like this. The trailer showed a lot, but didn't feel like it showed enough.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. It's really cool to me. I kind of like, still the whole premise that they're every time they use their powers, they switch back and forth.
Hmm.
Um, I think their
Yeah.
costumes look great.
Oh yeah. Which, by the way, speaking of their powers, I like how Monica was like explaining their powers. Like Carol shoots light, I see light, and and Kamala can bend light into physical matter. It's like, dang, bro, you really are like the Black Widow of this team. Wow, you can see the light. One of them is
Yeah,
like one of them is like Superman. One of them is like Green Lantern, and you're just Black Widow.
you're just there. Yeah, I
You're
mean,
just you're just present.
I worry about this movie again being kind of goofy. But
Yeah.
I'm excited. It's just to
Oh
me,
yeah.
it's like again, like it looked good. I think the thing to me was like it looked visually good, which is
Mm.
like something that like quality control. I think the MCU like a lot of the stuff has looked like shit recently, and this
Oh
kind of looked
yeah.
good.
Look really good.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, and again, I don't have much to say. The Korea cool. I'm excited to see them again. I'm excited to see what's going on with Sword. Right, that's kind of the big
Mm.
thing with Monica. Like, what is
Yeah.
she touching? I know what she's touching, and you know how she's touching like the thing at the pause, pause. She's in
I'm gonna
space.
say
You
touching.
know,
Who's she touching?
you know what I'm saying. The thing in space, the blue circular thing.
Oh yeah, we know what she's touching. She's touching the like the little jump pad or jump parts.
Right, but it's not a jump point to like a different it's a jump point to another multiverse.
Oh, well, I didn't know that part.
Spoilers. Sorry. Kind of a big thing at the end of the movie, but you guys will see. Uh yeah. I don't really have much to say. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I don't either. It's like it was fun. I don't feel like I've gotten like less or more excited.
What's your excitement level at right now?
Probably a 6.
I'd say a 5. Yeah, I'm right there.
Like I'm not gonna go rush to see it on Friday.
Uh
If I maybe go try Saturday, like right after I get off work.
do you think this movie makes more or less than Captain Marvel? Captain Marvel made a lot of money.
Oh, definitely less.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely less. I think Captain Marvel was in the billions.
It was $1 billion film.
Yeah.
But that's also because it was squeezed in between Infinity War and Endgame, I think, partly.
Yeah, and people probably wanted to see like the origin of like this. That oh my god, that is one of the other top three memeable things. Is like Captain Marvel's going to be this big figure in Avengers Endgame, and she was in like less than 4 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, these superhero franchises, they gotta stop doing
Stop.
these
Stop. Just shut up.
big.
Just let us
They
watch the thing. I know it's
they
crazy.
gotta stop overhyping it. Because oh my god, what was the series that did it really bad? Was it Falcon and the
WandaVision.
Winter Soldier? Oh, I feel like it was Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I don't remember
No,
what
because
it was.
no. Okay. Anthony Mackie said something really stupid. He's like, this series will have more surprises than WandaVision.
Oh yeah. What was the WandaVision thing? I forgot.
Strange. And Mephisto.
Oh yes, yeah. The Paul Bettany thing. The Paul Bettany thing.
Fucking
Also.
every single week it was Mephisto,
and
Mephisto, and then
no,
Strange.
it was what's it called? It was Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany. When I think it was Elizabeth Olsen or somebody in the show said that there was a Luke Skywalker cameo in the show.
Paul
And
Bettany
then-
being like, I've always wanted to work with this actor, and it was him.
And it was himself. Yeah, like just crazy.
Strange was supposed to be in the show as it was if COVID doesn't happen. What else was kind of bullshit?
Could you imagine that, by the way?
I actually think in retrospect it was probably a good thing.
Yeah. You know what's funny though? Loki did not have any of those like big taglines, and then it fucking is the biggest show to come out of the multiverse saga so far.
I'll still never forget like when we saw Kane, I was like, what the fuck? I didn't think that was gonna happen. I mean, I kind of thought it was gonna happen, but you remember that's good suspense right there. That's a good misdirection because remember everybody thought, oh, it's just gonna be like a Loki who's the head of the TVA. You remember that?
Yeah,
everyone just like it has to be a Loki.
And then it was just a wacky variant of Kang.
So
yeah,
I don't know. The Marvels. We'll see, man. I mean, we'll watch it. We'll review it. We'll talk about it, but we'll see.
Absolutely.
Alrighty.
Absolutely.
Question of the week. This is my question of the week.
Boy, cannot wait.
It kind of relates to Heir to the Empire.
Okay.
Alex, we're not going to probably do a show for a couple weeks until we preview Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Before we get to that, what do you think, and you can't say an entire show, what do you think are the most essential things to watch or read or do before Ahsoka? Give me a couple essential episodes, television series, books to read before Ahsoka.
Because then I gotta pull Disney Plus because this depends. This will depend. Hold on. Gotta log in. Hold on. Speed running to the Star Wars section. Here we go. Okay. So, which by the way, there actually is a section on Disney Plus called the Ahsoka Tano Essentials.
Right.
Which I don't think you honestly need to watch any of the Clone Wars. Maybe if you want to watch some of these episodes that like are heavily Anakin focused, because Anakin's going to be in the show.
Right.
You can do that. So maybe I could recommend the Wrong Jedi arc.
Okay.
Siege of Mandalore, because it's in the Mandoverse, and so I guess to get more Ahsoka, like Mandalore.
It's all about Din Djarin, baby. It's
yeah. And then probably Twilight of the Apprentice.
Okay.
Because hopefully we'll see in the series. We'll see how she got off Malachor. The World Between Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Probably all of her appearances in live action.
Yep.
And then for books.
So 2, right? It's just that Mando episode of Boba, right?
there is the Jedi, and then the
From the
episode
desert
from
comes a stranger. Yeah.
yeah, um, and then books. Although it's not as important, the Ahsoka book. Um, I think Heir to the Empire is good to read. It's not canon, but it's good. It's the obvious groundwork, and of course, like again, I can almost imagine the Mandoverse crossover movie is probably going to be titled something along the lines of Heir to the Empire.
Right.
So good to read the original. Um, Nothing else is coming to mind right now.
I can. eh, I'll give you mine. So, Heir to the Empire, book one at least, because I kind of think book one, like I was saying earlier, is essentially going to be what Ahsoka is. Kind of the introduction to the broader audience of who Thrawn is, how menacing Thrawn is. So from the Heir to the Empire's perspective, it's more so to understand Thrawn more.
Hmm.
Again, you can read the canon Thrawn books. I read one of them, but I don't think those are because those are more about him in his Chiss days.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's essential to read. Plus, I feel like the Thrawn you get in Heir to the Empire is much more likely to be the Thrawn we get in this.
Yeah.
Another one, and it's not listed on the Ahsoka episodes, but to me, it's essential. Is the Mortis arc? I get that. I get that it's more of an Anakin arc, but I'm watching it. I currently watched the first episode of that arc a couple nights ago, and there was a couple things I didn't realize before that I caught. But to me, like Ahsoka is, we have to remember, Ahsoka is like the embodiment of the daughter. She's literally the embodiment of the light side of the Force now.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a huge part of her character. I mean, anytime we see her now, we see Morai. We see the bird.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's an essential thing you kind of have to understand about her.
Yeah.
The Ron Jedi, I think, because and I would sprinkle in some Anakin and Ahsoka episodes to kind of like feel the full emotional grasp of the Ron Jedi, because it's the changing point that changes her whole trajectory.
Yeah.
Siege of Mandalore for sure. I think you just have. It's like one of the best pieces of Star Wars. I think you kind of have to watch it.
That and because another good one because it ties in is Shroud of Darkness, season 2, episode 18 of Star Wars Rebels, because that's when she reveals to Ezra that the last time her and Anakin saw each other was right before he went off to go save Palpatine, and then also that's when she finds out that he's Darth Vader. So that's good too.
Any one of her Rebels appearances is fine.
Yeah, I mean they're okay. Some of them aren't like too essential, like the one where she is fighting
the Inquisitors,
like for the babies, for the Force babies. They're not incredibly like important. I could also say that the Siege of Lothal Part 2, because that's when her and Vader connect through the Force. So that kind of, again, strengthening that relationship with them.
But anything that's Anakin and Ahsoka related, it's probably good to watch.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some good Anakin Ahsoka episodes.
But see, then also though, for the Ahsoka series, I could also say that what's it called? Again, the World Between Worlds, because we're kind of getting some of that World Between Worlds iconography.
Right.
I could also say that Family Reunion and Farewell, because that gives you the basis of
Sabine,
who why Ezra's disappearance is so significant, where Thrawn is, and all that. Maybe just because there is a chance that he could appear, you could watch The Lost Commanders and Relics of the Old Republic for Rex and Ahsoka's reunion.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then honestly, like any Hera-centered episodes for Rebels.
Right. So
But,
basically,
like,
what we're saying is almost everything you can watch. But
yeah, just watch Rebels.
but to me, I think Heir to the Empire for for Thrawn's sake, and that's
Yes.
kind of a weird answer, I think, but I think it's the most accurate one.
Mm-hmm.
For Ahsoka, I would say Mortis, The Lost Jedi, sprinkle in some Anakin and Ahsoka episodes, then
Yeah.
Siege, then obviously anything with Anakin and Ahsoka and Vader, and then World Between Worlds stuff.
Mm.
I don't think you really need Tales of the Jedi. Those are cool
No,
stories, but you
yeah.
don't need them.
I mean, the episode or the last Ahsoka episode, I'd probably say is essential because that's like the building ground of her relationship with Anakin.
Yeah, you can, yeah, that's fair. And then I think you can sprinkle in some Rebels episodes with Sabine and Hera.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah,
and tip specifically Sabine's like Mandalore trials.
yeah. I mean, for Sabine, um,
And then also I would watch Thrawn and Rebels just to see his relationship with
yeah,
those characters.
just watch season 3 and 4 of Rebels for Thrawn. But for Sabine, you could do the Antilles extraction because it kind of gives you an insight of her past as an Imperial cadet.
Yep.
You could do episode 15, Trials of the Dark Saber, episode 16, Legacy of Mandalore, 0 Hour, part 1 and part 2 for
Mm.
Thrawn specifically, because that's the Rebels taking their biggest defeat thus far. That's when Thrawn invades their base and they
It
take
just
heavy
blows it
losses.
to shit. Yeah.
Yeah, basically like glasses the planet. And then again, also for Sabine, Heroes of Mandalore, another good one. That's really about it.
Then the Rebels finale, obviously.
Yeah, and then Family Reunion and Farewell again for basically everybody.
If you had to, you don't have to watch the first 2 seasons of Rebels. I would recommend against it. Actually, you just watch 3 and 4.
No, I think you kind of have to watch the first two because like that's where Twilight, The Apprentice is, Shroud of
Well,
Darkness.
yeah, well, I'm saying for the most part, because
Oh
anyways,
yeah. Because Ahsoka's
with
not in
you
the
have to, you even have to admit, like there's a starch departure from Ezra's character from end of 2 to 3.
Oh yeah. I mean, you got to think he's also like 13, 14 during seasons 1 and 2, and then in season 3 he's like
16,
16, 16, 17 years old. Which, by the way, that man got puberty like a god because he like grew like 6 inches.
Yeah,
Like,
bro, Luke did not look like that when he was 16. Let's be for real here, man.
well, when we see Luke in Kenobi, he's still like this little small 10-year-old boy, and just a thing, just like in a few years, he's gonna be like a teenager of like Ezra's age. Mm-mm.
Dude, even when we see like the silhouette of him in Rebels, like Luke,
Yeah.
he's supposed to be 12, 13 then. He's just still like a little kid running around.
Mm-hmm. That also, by the way, is one of my favorite fun facts. That 3 of Star Wars' protagonists were born on the same day, in the same year. That Ezra, Luke, and Leia.
Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm. 3 of, and what's funnily enough, they're also 3 of like the most powerful Jedi's too.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be back obviously to talk about Ahsoka and preview it, but I'm so excited, man. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be a nice little like
It looks
hiatus
really
we
good.
get here. I'm gonna finish the first book of Heir to the Empire. I'm gonna watch some Ahsoka stuff in the meantime.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean,
Got anything
hey,
else you want to talk about it?
no, man. I mean, in that time that we're gonna be gone, because when does it come out? I don't remember.
The 23rd. So we'll preview it the 16th.
Wow. Oh wow! So we are gone a long time. We're good. We are gone for 3 weeks, folks. Well, no, we're
Yeah.
gone for 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks off isn't bad.
Yeah.
But then hopefully by then, man, I'll have a new computer. I'll have all of it, dude. And then I'll also, again, like I told Drew before we started, I'll also be in debt because I'll have to spend money on video games that I already have.
Right.
Life's gonna be great.
Yeah.
And dude,
Well,
it's just. I know you're trying to wrap up, but it's just crazy.
no, you're good.
It's just crazy to think
You're good.
that like 12 years ago, an Ahsoka TV series was impossible to think
Oh,
about.
yeah.
Impossible. Nobody could. No, there's no way. And then here we are, almost 15 years after the character's debut. She finally gets her own TV series. Just so like people remember, Ahsoka was like Rey levels of hated.
Oh, I would say even more. I'm gonna say even more.
I'm gonna say even worse because she was a bratty teenager. So and people just ragged on Ahsoka worse than Rey. Rey has it pretty easy in comparison.
It's not even just the fact, and I don't mean to cut you up, but it's not even just the fact that like Ahsoka was like just bratty, snobby teenager. It was the fact that also like Anakin had an apprentice. That was the big problem. Yeah, everyone was fucking pissed that Anakin had an apprentice.
Mm-hmm. An apprentice that wasn't mentioned in the movies.
Right.
So it's just crazy because if you would have asked little 7-year-old me, do you think Ahsoka's going to get her own TV series? I would have said hell no.
Right.
Because I was one of those people who's like, she's not in the movie, so she's gonna die. And then she didn't die. And then she appeared in Rebels. And then she didn't die in Rebels. And then I was like, oh my god, she's alive past the Battle of Endor. Oh my god. And then we see her in The Mandalorian. I'm like, oh my god.
I don't think she's ever gonna die, to be honest.
No. I'm telling you, she is one of those characters in Star Wars that just will not die. I think her, Captain Rex, and Boba Fett. Characters that are just not going to die. You can kill them all you want. They're never dead. They're never going to stay dead.
I think that's fair. Alrighty. Well, that's going to do it for episode 101. Shorter show today, but jam-packed. Talked about the Secret Invasion finale, discussed the Marvels trailer, and answered the question of the week about what is essential to watch for Ahsoka. We will be back in a few weeks to preview Ahsoka. We'll go over some of the news that's going on. I assume it's going to be quiet with the actor strikes.
Yep.
So as always, may the Force be with you, and may you stay burdened with glorious purpose. Until next time, peace. Dab.